I back to work on the Wolf because the temperatures now have dropped below 90 degrees on a regular basis, and we're shoring up. What I'm making here is I'm making up a panel to place over the cutout portion of the top of the transom. And the reason why I had to do this is because I tried to lay a whole big sheet across the back end of the boat, and it was just not strong enough to not wave at all. Like, it got wavy. So I took this aluminum. This is the old aluminum bracket that I've got on there, and I laid down some tin foil as a release agent, and that does work, by the way. If you ever need a cheap release agent, a release backer or whatever, you can use tin foil. And then I mixed up some regular resin, and that's a piece of biaxial. And so I'm just pouring resin over it, and I'm going to brush it out and let it harden. And then you'll see later in the video how I apply it. Here I'm grinding off the old piece that I told you about that got all wavy, and then I'm prepping the surface to apply this new piece that I've made, the new backer board. Here I'm mixing up some peanut butter to use as glue to paste that backer up. Alright, so our piece is hardened, and I've cleaned and prepped the surface to apply this new backer board. And you can see I've already got the peanut butter on the piece, and I just clamp it down, and now I'm going to try to work the air bubbles out as much as possible. The interior portion of this transom is super wavy, and I was not able to get all the air bubbles out. But again, remember, it's not structural. It's really just designed and intended to hold up the sea cast, so when I pour that transom, that it comes all the way up to the top. Now I'm drilling the holes, the 1-inch holes, for the scupper and the drain plug down in the bottom, and I'm going to start fitting the brass pieces. I've never done this before, but it was pretty easy. Almost there. There we go. So we have our first backer placed up here, and yes, I see all the air bubbles. I'm very aware of that. And this is not really structural. This is just meant to give us something to, when we pour the sea cast needs to come all the way up and fill this gap. At which point, then there'll be another layer of biaxial that goes across the back here, and that'll shore it all up. Really, what we're doing is building a form, and this transom skin was so warped. I mean, it's hard to see, but I mean, it was so warped, that fiberglass, to get it all perfect is going to be really tough. So I'm doing everything possible to save the rear end of the boat. We're doing a lot today. I mean, I feel like I made some pretty decent progress. I haven't worked on the boat in a while because of the temperatures. Sea cast requires a temperature of 90 degrees or less for 8+ hours, and believe it or not, in Florida we get very little of that during the day in the summer. So now it's end of October, and we're now getting into that time of the year where it's about 85 degrees during the day, which is nice, and there's a nice breeze. So my goal is to get this other piece put on, glued in, and then pour the sea cast transom. So we're making good progress. And this is that peanut butter mixture that I make. It's Cabicil and fiberglass resin, and I just laid it up thick on this and used it like a glue, and then clamped it down. And yeah, I mean, it worked pretty well. I mean, I'm not happy with the air bubbles, but the warping there was was crazy, and it is what it is. We'll make do. So I took some time too on Sunday to roll the motor out and hook it up and start it. It's a two-stroke, and it seems to start every time. I'm really happy with my setup here, able to roll it out on my own. I don't need any help. The engine stand I built is super solid and seems to work great. Um, I do have a little bit of water coming out of the water jacket, and some things, probably some gaskets need to be replaced, and I'd like to have somebody take a look at it. But she started up fine and ran it for 15-20 minutes just to keep the fuel flowing through her. And with a two-stroke, if it's not smoking, it's broken. So it's smoking, and did all right. So the second piece of backer is done, and much easier on the back side of the transom because it's so smooth and flat. So I was just test fitting it here, making sure that it's going to sit right on the transom. I mixed up my Cabasol peanut butter mixture again, painted it on the actual transom this time. You can see here I'm making a dotted line around the piece. And that's because I want to know where I need to prep the surface. Run just a quick grinder over it just to rough it up just a little bit. And then acetone to clean off all the dust and any dirt that has been gotten on there. You can see I'm painting on the Cabasol mixture nice and thick, putting it on both pieces. And it just sucked right up to it and tightened in, and it's tight. So looking forward to pouring that transom very, very soon, and that will be the next video you see, is that transom being poured and completed. Thanks for watching. Please like and please subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate all your comments too. I want everybody to know that. Thank you for doing that.